Yep. So you're 54 years old. Mm, Generally in good health. You probably been taking a, a pill or two, a tablet or two for some condition, maybe diabetes, maybe hypertension, normal things that people live with. And then you've never been admitted in a hospital. Everything you've done is outpatient, and the only time you ever had anesthesia applied to you was local anesthesia, when, as tradition demands, some piece was cut off from you so that you have that transition from boy to man. You know what I mean? So you are okay. You're healthy. You eat well. You live well. You know. And then, as you walk around town, going about your businesses, you get a pain in your chest, and then this pain is so intense that you dash into the nearest. Fortunately, you are in CBD Nairobi, so there are a number of clinics, good clinics. So you dash into one of those clinics, and you go and request that you be given urgent medical attention. And the other people actually look at you and agree, yes, this person needs urgent medical attention. So they get you ahead of the queue. So you're put on these ECG machines and whatnots, and the doctor looks at you and tells you, you better, if you have your own personal doctor, you better get your personal doctor. Actually, admit yourself into a big hospital. That is what she said, the young lady. Admit yourself to a big hospital and call your doctor. So you're like, Allah, Kwani, what happened? Anyway, so of course, being a person who doesn't like to argue and about health, at least, you dash to, instead of going to the hospital, you dash to the doctor, to your usual doctor. And you also go and request that you need to be looked at very quickly because you've got these printouts of the ECG, which shows your heart has been going, up and down, whatever. They look at it and they say, hey, you, because this is somebody who's been taking care of you because of your diabetes and hypertension, says, hey, this one requires a cardiologist. So they make a call and you're told, walk into this place, to a cardiologist's clinic, which is maybe half a kilometer away. So you walk to this clinic and you find people are waiting for you, and they quickly put you on some machines which read some things. You can see how your heart is beating. You can see, and they say, well, there's clearly an event here which needs further investigation. Now, all this time, you've been walking. Okay, a bit from CBD to your doctor, you had to take a cab. But from there to the next doctor was just a walk. Suddenly you are put on a wheelchair. You're told you can't walk anymore. So you're pushed to the hospital, the nearest hospital, and you're admitted. And all this time, okay, the pain has gone. So you're just wondering, what are all these guys? What is all this drama and things like those? Anyway, so you end up in a ward, and when now they do a thorough check, they move you to the HDU, not just a ward. So you're like, hey, now from ward to HDU, next is ICU, and then you know where. Anyway, so they find that you have a clot, and that's the one which was causing the pain as it headed towards the heart. So they quickly put you on machines, they put you on some thinners, they inject you with stuff, and on day 2, they remove you from HDU now, from those machines you are hooked up to, and you go back to the ward. And after a short while, another 2-3 days, you're told you can go home. So you go home. First admission. Barely a month later, the same thing occurs again. So you are running again to now directly the cardiologist, directly to the ward again, the wheelchair and all that, and HDU and those machines. And they determine that this time the clot is bigger. So you are in theater. They do an angioplasm, I think it was called. And 5 days later, you're out of hospital. So you're just wondering, when this year, and it's March, So you're wondering, this year, how has it started? So, but anyway, so before the end of the year, you've been diagnosed with cancer. You've been operated on. Now realize anesthesia where you went under for almost a whole day because you went to theater at 10 and you woke up at around midnight. Of course, you're back in the ward, with all these restrictions. And now you realize your life has changed. And now you also take things more seriously. You cannot now afford to take anything easily, that anything you're told that you have to do it. So one of the things I'd been told for a very long time, okay, that's my story. So forget about whether it's you or whatever. So one of the things that I'd been told for a very long time is to take care of my weight because I was in the 90s. And I was like, this is health, man. What do you mean? Yeah, health, don't eat this, don't eat that. But then what's life for if you're not going to enjoy? Of course, I'd stopped alcohol many years before, but the nyama choma and these other things, man, I couldn't, you know. So anyway, I find out that things are serious because between the hospital when I was operated in Nairobi and the treatment I went through India, so many people died. We're in the same queue, maybe for the radiotherapy or chemotherapy, and you're unable to walk. So the following day when you don't come, the chances are you died. So I said, this could also be me. So I took my health more seriously, and decided to change my diet drastically. According to, in fact, a lot of the doctors, the medical people didn't know those things. That there are other things you can do other than medication to get your health on an even keel. Not necessarily. I think once you've had issues, it never really goes away. You can't quite get back the old health, the old you. But there are things you can do. There are things you can do that will take you back on an even keel, where things are not too bad. And so that's what I've done. So I've taken, I think a lot of people hear about fasting, intermittent fasting, where you let your body heal itself. You get rid of all the toxins that you've been eating. You eat healthy. You leave processed foods. Like I've created like a small garden at my back, the back of my house, where I grow a lot of the vegetables that we take in the house. And so this is something that I wanted to share with everybody who will watch this video. That the sooner you start taking care of your health, the sooner you stop feeding your body with garbage, with processed foods, with vegetables we don't know why they have been grown. Stop these sprays and fertilizers and things like those, because those are poisonous. Basically, you're giving your body poison, and eventually it's going to give up. So it is important to know what you're eating. It is important to take care of when you eat, how you eat, and generally just be aware of good. Of course, I'm not saying that you be afraid. Eventually, we all die, But it's good to live for a while, a healthy life, without too many issues. Eventually, so when you go down to the grave, at least you didn't suffer too much because it's in your hands. So you can follow this channel, and you can also see other things that I've brought up on my postings on Facebook, everywhere. I talk about this health thing because it really shook me. But I've seen that what I'm doing now is working. So I'd encourage everybody to eat healthy, organic, as much as possible, natural foods, mild exercise. I walk a lot, but that's for my own. You can. I think it's said if you walk, is it for 30 minutes a day or something? A brisk walk will keep you. I do a lot. I do maybe 10, 15, 20 kilometers sometimes. But that's me, because I really enjoy walking around the neighborhood. So take care of yourselves, people.